Josh in Missouri. How you doing? You're on with Jamie and Matt.
Hey, Jamie. Hey, Matt. How you guys doing today?
Doing pretty well. Whereabouts in Missouri, if you don't mind?
I'm actually in Cape Girardeau. Matt, I think you may have what's the word I'm looking for? Cooperated with the SSA down here some years ago.
Yeah, once upon a time.
Yeah, so
you're see you down again.
You're walking the unholy ground that Matt Dillahunty once strode.
Yeah.
So what did you want to talk about today?
Well, actually, this is my first time calling Talk Heathen, and my first time talking to you, Matt, which is kind of surprising. I thought I'd ever get to talk with you on the atheist experience, so that's pretty cool.
Imagine how I feel.
Yeah. But yeah, so my topic would be, I was getting into a conversation with a theist, and I put up the notion that the supernatural has never been confirmed before, and he disagreed that it has been. I said, well, give me an example of that. And he put out black holes. I think black holes, those aren't supernatural. I mean, they have perfectly natural origins. But then he said, well, what happens in the center of a black hole? Well, it's the singularity. I said, well, physics breaks down at that point.
Did he just watch the Disney movie and think that was like a documentary?
The Disney movie? Which one?
So there was a Disney movie called The Black Hole that came out when I was a little kid, which had... I don't know, was it Max von Sydow as this mad scientist flying a ship into the black hole, and as you go through, as they enter and cross the event horizon, they're essentially like taken through hell and come out on the other side. It was absolute garbage.
Whoa.
Boo, random religious references,
sounds like a cool concept, though.
As a kid, and at that time, I thought it was the most awesome movie ever, but I've since watched it as an adult and an atheist, and it's crap.
Well, whenever I put black holes and Disney together, I always think of Treasure Planet.
Oh, yeah. Well, so, I mean, my question would be, is your friend a cosmologist, or, like, does...
we don't know the answer to that question.
Hey, you know what? I like to confirm skepticism.
Well, the way he puts it is that, well, how do you define supernatural? Well, to me, anything supernatural would be, like, that which operates beyond the laws of physics or beyond nature. And, well, a singularity does kind of fit that description, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
Really?
Well, I mean, everything that we know about the physical world, including black holes, still is natural. We have physics which define how a black hole operates. We have physics that can describe what happens with gravity and event horizons, et cetera. Now, is there speculation? Sure. Do we know everything? No, but there's nothing that anybody can point to about a black hole or anything else that we've ever observed and go, yep, that's supernatural. We've demonstrated it.
Sure. I guess in terms of like the idea that you can't really take a singularity and actually demonstrate that it is supernatural.
At the present moment?
Yeah, at the present moment. I guess the best you can do is point at it and say, hey, this isn't doing what physics normally should do, so that could be supernatural, but that's in no way a confirmation of the supernatural.
Exactly.
I agree with everything you said except for the very first part, which is, so it could be supernatural, because that is actually sort of a claim that gets casually stated and unaddressed, which is, how do you know that it could be or that it is even possible? But yeah, I mean, really there's like the history of apologetics for a bunch of religions that end up saying, oh yeah, that's a mystery, therefore God. In the Quran, there's literally like, oh, but if God isn't real, how come boats float? Like, it just, as our understanding of the world increases, God gets smaller and the arguments get more quasi-science-y.
And now it seems that we're up to, if God's not real, explain black holes.
Yeah, that seemed to be the one that stumped me the most, because, like, you can point at any so-called miracle, statues crying, stuff like that, and say, well, you can't really prove that actually happened, but we do know that black holes are real. We do know that singularities at least exist. At least we don't know how they operate.
Yeah.
But
you could
that one did kind of stump me the other day.
Yeah, it's difficult because then they try and throw, like, well, can you explain it? And my answer is no, I'm not a cosmologist. I don't know even what is known about black holes. But I mean, really, there's people that point at stage magicians that do their job really well and go, well, clearly it's magic.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it really just came down to the definitions. Like, how do you define supernatural? Well, that which doesn't abide by physics
is not natural.
From what we can tell, singularities don't. Mm-hmm. So that got about as close as it possibly could to what he would call confirming the supernatural.
Well, so does he believe that it actually does?
He does. He absolutely did.
Right.
I wasn't able to reply to him the same way that you guys did because I didn't really know a good way to really address it, which is one of the reasons why I called you guys. Yeah. But the best I could do is tell him, well, supernaturals do form through perfectly natural means. We have an understanding on how they work and how they form, although we may not be able to investigate further beyond what happens in a singularity. That doesn't mean that it's supernatural. Yeah, at the moment.
And it gets even worse. Let's assume... Now, I did a whole video on supernatural causation and how it may, in fact, be impossible to demonstrate such a thing. We don't know, but it certainly hasn't happened. But let's assume that we were able to demonstrate and through definition and exploration, reach the conclusion that there is something about a black hole that is clearly supernatural. Then the follow-up to that is, so what? Because proving that X is supernatural doesn't tell you anything else about the supernatural, doesn't tell you whether or not there's a God, doesn't tell you how plausible it is that there's a God, doesn't tell you that there's anything else. This may be the one and only thing that is not natural. And so
I like that.
There's something that they can't prove, and even if they could prove, it wouldn't help them make their case. It would make their case infinitesimally more probable. Because now at least there would be a demonstration of something supernatural, whereas in the world we live in right now, there's no demonstration of any such thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. Like, even if you could potentially prove that fairies exist, I mean, that's all you can do is say fairies exist. That doesn't really get you any closer to a God proposition.
Yeah, it's just like when we're doing evolution and we're going out and looking for Tiktaalik or something. Finding Tiktaalik doesn't also mean there's a crocoduck. That would be bad science.
Yeah. I thought they did, Well, yeah, so...
Crocoduck would be pretty cool to see, though.
Yeah. I mean, it would.
It's probably the funniest thing Ray ever came up with.
Yeah. Also, it would be interesting to talk with Ray about that. So, one, I forgot to say it, like and subscribe. But two, hopefully we've given you, like, some framework to talk to your friend. And also, you can give him the phone number 512-686-0279. And we'd be, or at least I would be, happy to back you up on that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you guys cleared that up immensely. Thank you very much for that. I'll let you guys move on to other callers, but I'll keep watching.
Right,
great.
Cool.
Thanks for calling.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Of course. If we were just chatting around a table, I would throw out a nitpicky thing about you saying infinitesimally more likely, because to measure from unknown to a single instance...
But we're not measuring from unknown. We're measuring from 0 data points
to having
one data point.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you define infinitesimally.
Yeah, that's the mistake, because we might have had the first example that would lead to a billion, or we might have the only example, in which case it's no more plausible at all.